throughout centuries were trapped in a place for the unforgiven. They, across that bench, said years of wisdom and lessons, years of reprimand and authority, years of love and...
Man, it is what it is. Man, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
This fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K, check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio at 9/11.
Coming to y'all soon.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show. Now, here's one little speech I'm going to give you before I get into the next article. Here's what I want to tell you. Still, but fear is big business. Fear is big business. I'm not telling you not to be alarmed by what you're seeing. I'm not telling you not to be concerned. What I'm saying is not to buy into the notion that we should be afraid. You should be informed. You should be aware. You should start educating yourself about some things. I don't have the solutions. I don't have the answer. I wish I could say that if you did X, Y, and C, you might not get shot by the police. I wish I could tell you that, but I can't. But what I can say is just start making yourself aware of what's going on, but don't be so consumed by what you're seeing that you become afraid, that you don't want to go out. Or you become numb. That's a good point, Nate. Nate said, or you become numb to it, like you just don't care. So we need you to just continue to be in touch with what's going on, but educate your family, talk to your sons, talk to your daughters, because it's not just limited to men. We know from Sandra Bland, she was a young woman who was killed. And we don't want to say, we don't know all the details behind what happened. No. The fact is that person's life still matters. They still have rights. They should not just be killed dead before they even get a trial. Okay, that's the point. They deserve a trial at least, but they can't even make it to the jail cell to get a trial to be tried. They're being killed even before arrest. Terrible. So that's my soapbox.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here on Be Exposed Radio.
Since you've been listening this far, we're going to throw in a little bonus hour. You ready? Hoo-ha!
Bonus hour's gonna last. I'm getting addicted.
How you doing? I love this extra hour. Everything is organic here on the bonus hour.
Yeah, baby. Hey, yo, check this out. Wendy, man. Here it is. It's the bonus hour on the Wendy Williams Experience. 107.5 WBLS.
What button would you possibly press? You reached and then you coiled.
I got something special for the next story. I'm sorry.
You don't know what the next story is?
You just said it.
Star Jones?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to throw you off. Let's talk about Tigger and the booty hole and the bloody sheets. How you doing?
How you doing?
Big Tigger has officially changed his BlackBerry, his two-way, his house phone. As a matter of fact, he's probably packed up and moved to Istanbul, asking BET, can we please have a satellite feed? I can no longer be part of the United States. The superhead has ruined me. Thanks to G-Rap and Ma Barker.
That's going to be in her next book.
No, it won't. Please, she already had to cancel this book tour. Oh. There won't be a next book. Not on this line. Not on this vein.
Uh-oh.
And if I were Carmen Escobar, I'd write the book, but I'd fall back off doing the tour because you're gonna get it too.
Ooh.
You might be Nas Baby's mother, but there's some history there. Uh-oh. And you're no saint. So now if you're going to write a book, then we're going to bring it to you. Me, Star, Jones, Ebro, and... You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'm talking with my hands and everything. Let me calm down. Hold on. Pass me that bottle.
Uh-oh.
She wrote the book, but real good girls don't tell.
40 ounce crew.
And I didn't need to get my practice from 2 hours in a nosebleed. I'm being a real negress now. I got the gum. Let me just get a crack going. You know, I never learned how to do that growing up in Ocean Township. That is one thing that negresses do that I love, because that is so effective. You know, when you're telling somebody off and you got your pinky all up in their face and you winding up and you cracking it at the same time. Let me tell you something, bitch. Crack. I can't do it. Now I'll talk about Star Jones. Poor Tigger.
Yes. Oh, gosh, Damonn, when you're at the hell. How you doing?
All right. What's that on the sheet?
Oh.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little blood and a booty blowout. Who's that knocking at the door? It's Superhead. Get in the closet. All right, I'll hide here until you all are finished and then get rid of her.
Uh-oh.
We don't need no fish up in here. Damn, I understand. Hey, baby, how you doing? All right, just unzip and I'll just get right to work. Ooh. In the meantime...
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now.
The Artist Exchange radio show here live only on BensoRadio.com.
You're out of breath.
I'm tired. I'm sleepy. I'm not trying to claim it. It just happens that way. So today, I'm your host, Nate Couser, as if I'm somebody else the other days. I may be. It depends on my mood. And my co-host, Mr. Hullywood.
Hey, what's going on out there?
Shout out to my engineer, Eric. Eric be sometime me. And I'm starting to think, like, whether he got a fresh haircut or not. Like, when he got a fresh haircut, he's smooth. But he probably hasn't gotten his shape up this week. So he acting funny acting. It's cool, though, Eric. Because you know I don't care. And you know I'm going to just keep on picking and picking and picking. I'm that person. I didn't have an older brother, so I take my aggression out on the individuals that I come across in life. And we have a new person on our team, Miss Kara Smoot. She's our new production assistant. So when you message in, you'll be talking to Miss Kara. Miss Kara Smoot. I'm really exhausted. I'm going to be real honest with you today. And then I had the nerve to eat the burger. I'm not even going to say what it is, but it was like a bacon barbecue chicken sandwich.
It's like you got that from Wendy's.
No, from Burger King. I don't eat from Wendy's. They sell too much stuff. When a place got too much stuff going on and too much different stuff, and it's a fast food place, so it's too much different stuff going on.
Isn't that like with Burger King? They got processed meat and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you know that's not real.
Eating clone meat and whatnot.
It's just chicken.
It's clone though.
It tastes like chicken. I can tell the difference. I know what real chicken is. I'm a chicken connoisseur. But I had that. But in this first segment, I'm going to talk about the new rollout of the new bus system. It sucks.
Big time.
Nothing has changed. They're still late. It was promised that the buses will be more frequent. And most times they are. Some, I can say what was the 13 is more frequent. But the buses that are more frequent, it means that the line has been cut in half. And they've turned it into two different lines. So, of course, they're going to be more frequent. Because it's shorter trips.
Right.
But the ones that still travel are late.
Always. They say, yeah, we're going to be here every 10 minutes. We're going to pull up every 10 minutes.
Lies.
Bunch of lies.
And then they get you with this frequent 24 hours, which means they're still running on the same schedule. So after about 2:30, 3 o'clock, they're going to stop running till like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
True.
So they really aren't 24 hours anymore, like at all. Like that was the trick.
20 hours or so.
Right. So I've tested out a few. So and I don't catch buses. I'm just being real honest. I'm not bougie or anything. I just don't. It's too many people, and then like, yeah, I'm really on guard on a bus, and then people have attitudes and such and such. What are you applauding for, Eric? You drive now. You're bougie. You're part of the bourgeoisie now, and he's still late all the time because he think he got time. Have you tried the buses out, Eric? No, because that's not what you do. You don't do that. You're not a part of that game anymore. I'm gonna keep on like Eric laughs on the inside.
See, you should start at least get on them like at least one time now since
he doesn't do that.
Since it's
he
free.
got gas money.
Like,
he doesn't need to do that.
Good time right now. Like the buses are really doing something good because they're free.
He wears shades inside. He's too cool for that.
The lights are too bright for him.
Yeah, he's too cool for that. But anyway, so in testing out the system, I realized there are plenty of flaws, and I did a little mini interview on. It wasn't a mini interview because I asked this lady and this man a lot of questions, but I talked to a couple of the bus drivers, and they really wasn't prepared for this. This wasn't like an extensive training, so they could answer the questions that we're answering. So where does this bus cross? Does it cross this line? They didn't get that type of training.
Right.
And a lot of people, when they don't get it, people don't take initiatives when they're at work.
Right.
So they already had attitudes prior to this.
Because the guy changed it around.
So imagine everybody asking them questions. God forbid you have to answer a question about what you're doing.
Like, so I started thinking like okay, the buses seem like it's the same route. It's just a name change, and that's it.
A lot of them, and I have a booklet, and I think I left the booklet home, so I'll bring it in tomorrow. But a lot of the system, they changed their name, so the colors, all the colors intersect with downtown. All the double digits go from east to west and west to east. The triple digits go out into the county. So that's kind of.
I had to catch like 325 when it goes somewhere in the county.
Yeah, so it connects to Columbia. It goes out to Prairie Hall. It goes out to Hunt Valley.
Sedonia.
No, it's not. Bougie people think it's a county, but it's not. You still live in a city. Sorry, you in East Baltimore. People so bougie, that's where. People in Morgan think they're out in the county. You're not. You're in the city.
Pretty
Sorry.
In the heart of the city.
Right. So they I guess once it evens out and once the system gets used to their own system, then the bus will be a lot easier. It's not hard getting around. It's just hard knowing where things don't go anymore.
That is true.
So you're walking more to get the stuff than you would have.
I walk now anyway. Sometimes I just look at the bus like, you know what, man, forget it.
So what they did, they cut down a lot of the bus stops that are in between. So they may be like, what was like this block, and this block is sequential.
Now
So
you gotta walk an extra block.
yeah, you probably gotta walk 2 or 3 blocks now, sometimes more. I've heard, to get to the next bus stop, which is crazy because the system seems to be made for people who don't live in the city.
Right.
It's made for commuters, and that's what it feels like because it's very convenient. Like there's a bus called the 53 that goes down, I believe, down North Avenue, but it stops at the North Avenue, like it pulls into the North Avenue light rail station.
Right.
So that is clearly trying to get people coming into the city
And out the city.
to go to like government jobs in the city along North Avenue and such. So it seems like this whole system is set up for commuters and not for the people that actually live in the city.
Right.
So you made it very inconvenient. But their gift, if you will, was 2 weeks of free bus services. But that's only to set you up for the increase. For
the pay, because it's going up, what, like, to like $4.20 now? Or
yeah, it's $4.20, for all day pass is $180 for a single day pass. College students and regular students can no longer buy weekly passes. They have to buy the monthly passes.
Oh, that's cool.
But theirs is still discounted compared to the general rate. So it's like $78 now for a monthly pass.
I remember I was talking to one bus driver and I said, is it going to stop at $420? He said it's probably going to max out at $7 for an all-day bus pass. I'm like, you serious? It's going to go all the way up to $7? And I think that's by the summer of next year, I believe, or the end of this summer. I'm not sure. It's one of those times he said.
They going to lose money.
That's too much.
Yeah,
it's like
because everybody gonna be catching hats.
Right, because it's back. It's like you feel like you back in San Francisco, like just catching the train just till and from Vallejo.
And we are a major city. That is ridiculous. That because people have to catch the bus.
Right.
Like
so, it's like
so you tax people on top of taxing them.
Supply and demand.
And inconveniencing. And they gonna lose money.
Right. More people just like it's gonna be just like New York traffic every day.
Yeah. And that's what it's going to turn into because people already can't drive here.
I'd just rather walk.
So the new Baltimore City Link system gets a F for the first week of service for me. A big F. There were a lot of help. Oh, look at him. He on the buttons. You're so nice, Eric. He normally treats me like I'm the foster child of the expo. That's how they treat me here, but it's cool.
Give him a leftover piece of chicken.
Right, that's what they do. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But so I give them an F. Although there were a lot of bus drivers that were nice, that were trying to be helpful. I talked to one bus driver. She actually, on her own time, decided to travel the route so she knew where she was going and she knew what to tell people her routes intersected. But a lot of the bus drivers complained that they got the same amount of notice that we got.
No, that's impossible. I believe they was notified. They just didn't, like you said. I don't think they took the time out to actually really study.
No, because I've heard this from several different bus drivers. They were not given adequate training.
Okay.
In order, so if she's having to go on her own time and travel in her own car to learn her route, that's not training.
That's definitely not. That's just,
sending somebody a memo and giving them their new schedule with the bus route is not training. That's handing out a ditto.
Pretty much.
That's all that was. So I really believe that was poorly done, and it was not adequately rolled out. I think they should have did it in phases.
Would that be the mayor's fault?
I mean, she's the head. It's the mayor and the governor because they both signed off on this.
Y'all both can thank them too.
They both signed off on this, and they both get an F from me. Also, this 2 weeks I've been preparing for my return to being a summer instructor of theater. I'll be instructing theater at the Maya Baraka Writing Institute. It's really snazzy, real pinkies up. And they focus on hip-hop is one class, hip-hop. So you learn the history of it, you learn the ins and outs, the different styles, how it connects to, writing, poetry, which is, I'm learning two different things. So spoken word poetry, and they learning the many different elements of writing, the many elements of hip hop, and the culture of it all, the history of it all, and then poetry is doing the same thing. We have a production class where they're learning how to put on slams and produce events and manage and host events. Right. So that's a whole separate class. And then I'm the theater instructor. And I'm out of my league when it comes to these poets and such because they have their whole system down, and I'm adding I know what I'm doing as a theater instructor, but in terms of writing, actors don't write a lot. Not all of us anyway. So that's a different component. So we're focusing more on writing. So that's been very fun. We've had a 2-week planning session, which was the best experience in my life. If there are any teachers listening, definitely think about getting together with your colleagues and doing your lesson plan. When I tell you, it is so much easier, and you really learn so much more. Normally teachers are doing other things during their lesson planning sessions. I'm gonna be honest because I know a couple teachers. But I've done lesson planning before, and it's always by yourself. But this was very helpful, and if anybody has an experience doing it in a group, you know that it's very beneficial. So I've never done lesson planning like this, but it was very fun sitting with 4 other artists planning out our schedule for the summer. So I definitely and highly suggest that you try it out. How much time we got left? So give us a call, 410-702-5657, or you can text us at 443-642-9403. I want to talk to you. I don't like reading text. Call me, 410-702-5657. Don't forget, you can always go to our BeExposedRadio.com website at www.BeExposedRadio.com and check out all of our past shows. You'll see a lot of updates. Check out our sponsors for the month. If you're watching us on YouTube Live, you'll see during the commercials some ads being placed. But that's one of our new sponsorship items, one of our new line items that you can effectively broadcast and promote your business to various listeners throughout the entire day, through all of our shows for only $40 a month. You can't beat that. That's a steal. It's a steal. So definitely hit me up if you're interested in letting the Artist Exchange help you with your marketing and promotional needs, events, products, services. If you just want to say happy birthday to somebody and you want to do it on Be Exposed for 30 days, hit us up. Info at BeExposedRadio.com. Put in the subject box, the Artist Exchange sponsorship, or you can call me directly at 443-418-8168, and I'll happily talk to you about sponsorship and all those dilly daddies. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange with the Hullywood Report. Dun 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 dun. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Last time on Talk Lately.
He don't have Down syndrome. His
man killed after being shot in Charm City Circulator. That's Derek. It says the 26-year-old man was killed after being shot on the Charm Circulator bus Wednesday afternoon. Police... Oh, that was last Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Okay, good. It wasn't Derek. He did that. His shooting was on Saturday. Police found the victim who had been shot in the stomach at 2:50 p.m. at the bus on the 200 block of South Broadway and Gulf Street.
But he was on. It
is over east.
Yeah, it's the one that's coming from John Hopkins.
Police believe the suspect and victim argued, then got onto the bus. The bus was still stopped when the shooting occurred.
1 minute.
The suspect wearing a black hoodie, black pants, black shoes, white soles. Matt. I know that was that mastermind down there. I heard somebody go look for mastermind. Hello?
At that point, it's time to go for a break.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Do yourself a favor and listen to this hilarious flashback on Charm City Direct Radio Show.
You know me. I eat like this all the time. Do I gain any weight? No, at all. You can have my belly right now. I'm giving away body parts. Somebody said they need a butt. Somebody said they need a butt.
I can use a little extra tissue there.
I can pop it. Right now.
He out here giving out butt cheek donations.
Hey everybody, it's your girl, the magical glow getter herself, Anissa Maureen, co-host of the Charm City Direct Radio Show. Catch me and the rest of my team every Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
Are you getting your kids this hoverboard thing that's taking over the country? They range from $300 to $600. They're blowing up. And then I mean literally blowing up. That one video, I thought that was going to be the one and only video that I saw in reference to it, and it wasn't. I seen, now I could probably tell you about 10 to 15 videos of this happening where this battery gets super, super hot and burns like holes into your tennis shoes.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, we're back at the Artist Exchange Radio on BeExposedRadio.com. No, my fault. I'm your co-host, Hollywood. We also have the host here, Nate Couser. And pretty much like, well, I was going to talk about Hollywood's Arts and Entertainment Report. Let's see. As far as entertainment, let's see a little bit of things about. As far as entertainment, on my behalf, I just got casted for a role, and I'm gonna be actually playing a superhero. So that's kind of like very exciting for me, and I'm really happy about it. You know, so I'm in training even more now for that. And also, like I was thinking about like as far as some things like I could do as far as entertainment. I know. Like we always were talking about like films and we doing acting gigs and we doing stuff like that, but just outside of that, like I think about like some things like I like to do or I want to do. Far as like I always think about like I want to do some skydiving. Who a lot of people like, oh, skydiving. Why would you want to do skydiving? That's death defying. Because I tried to tell Nate, come on, let's go skydiving. I believe he's down for it. You down for it, Nate?
I'm not talking right now.
He's okay. Anyway, but all right. But anyway, think about skydiving. And when you think about skydiving, you get that nervous feeling in you, or something like that. Like when you go to you about to go to the plane, thinking in your head, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I'm nervous. I shouldn't be doing this. And you start to second guess yourself. And by the time you're already in the plane, you already know you're gonna go up. And then once you're in the plane and you're just looking down at the sky, you're looking down, you see the ground, you're like, oh Lord, I'm about to jump out this plane going straight towards the ground. And a lot of things run through our mind, and a lot of things that we go through, just like, should I really be doing this? But at the end, you jump. And when you jump, you're like, you're screaming, whatever, you're going, your stomach is probably in your throat somewhere. And you probably can't even breathe because, you're screaming in fear. But when you really think about it, you took that jump. And me just thinking like that, as far as like how I look at that, like I try to apply that to my life. And that's how sometimes life situations come about. Like, we go through things and we actually like, why am I here? Or why am I doing this? Or like, why should I, like why am I nervous? Or how did I have it?
It might be the gum in your mouth.
That's what I think. So, like, we sitting there, and you're sitting there thinking, like, what? Like, I'm nervous, and if we can apply this to our life situations or the things that we want in life, you actually just got to go ahead and you really got to do it. Like, if you want this job, if you want this gig, or you want to go ahead and do this, and you want to go ahead and do that, you actually really have to go through that process. You're going to actually feel those feelings inside you. You're going to be nervous. You're going to be shaking, and you're going to second guess yourself. But once you jump, that's it. You pretty much, you're facing your fears, and you're actually just looking at like, what, I'm going to do it. So I advise, like, it's good to always be scared, but also take that jump, because you never know where that, when you jump, you never know where it can take you. Like, I was like recently, like I was sitting here like, man, I got so much I have to do, things is not going to work out for me, I'm trying to get this, I'm trying to plan that, but at the same time, I'm second guessing myself, but I'm still going to go through with it. But, I actually went on and did what I was supposed to do and getting everything together, and I took that jump. And since I took that jump, now that's what I'm saying, I just got casted to be a superhero in the film. And that was pretty, like, just, like, no matter what you're going through, just take that jump, and, don't be afraid to, don't be afraid to leap, because if you don't, you'll miss out on so much, and I was actually looking on some, just to jump. I'm gonna be everywhere, you know, because I got a lot to talk about. And
he didn't write it down because it's up here.
Yeah, it's in the brain. You know, I gotta try to keep this memorized. But he always say, write it down because you're gonna remember it if you don't have it written down. You know, I mean, my stubbornness.
But no one listens.
Yeah, I didn't write it down. I really didn't. But it's here though. It's all here. It's
somewhere.
All here. Yeah, it's fumbling around here. But also, I was thinking about I was looking at some other things. Like I was on the line, just pretty much looking at some things and topics. What could I talk about, or just something that's like that we should be concerned about, or like things that's been going on in the world. As far as like, I know a lot of people don't get into like politics and whatnot, but it was talking about far as like what was it? Oh my goodness. Immigration. And it was talking about far as the children and whatnot, and far as saying that should children be considered U.S. citizens and the parents state immigrants, you know what I'm saying? Or as far as like when refugees trying to come over to America, should they allow them to be in here, or should they allow families? And I was thinking about it like, you know, I can understand where they say don't allow some immigrants in because of what's going on here in America and or how big terrorism is going on right now. And I was saying like, you know, that's a touchy situation because, you know, you have families that's really over here, or that's refugees just trying to get here so they can better their lives, but it's hard because of terrorism. But I'll get right back to you after this commercial break. I'm Hollywood Hall on the Artist Exchange Radio by BeExposedRadio.com.
Close your eyes and just sleep tight. Lie awake and watch to be sure what that all your dreams of you are.
I've been dreaming about a lot. I had a dream that they never killed Pop. I had a dream Biggie never got shot. I had a dream Aaliyah plane never dropped. Man, I had a dream we didn't get killed by cops. Innocent babies never killed on the block. I had a dream that we all went to college. We all were scholars. We all earned top dollars. Man, I had a dream I was selling out shows instead of selling O's. Then I had a dream I sold the devil my soul.
Then I had a dream I sold the devil my soul.
Shit is out of control. I'ma get it and go, letting these niggas know. Dreaming about the sky, but waking up on the floor. I wake them up with the flow, cause niggas been sleep on the low. A nigga been a beast from the go. I've been dreaming about the millions, pushing the coupe with the ceiling gone. Yeah, getting my mama out of place, put her up in the estates. That's the shit that I'm really on. Yeah, I've been dreaming that the world felt. Man, I had a dream like Martin Luther King. Man, I had a dream that I was really the king. And on top of that, Sanaa Lathan was queen. Goddamn these dreams. These dreams, man, they come and go. I mean, some of these nightmares you wouldn't wanna know. I mean, this type of shit you couldn't stomach though. I mean, shit, I had a dream that I poured a Minaj. Think it was Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Now I don't even lust over neither, cause these bitches, I don't need them. I just fuck them, I don't love them, all feed them. Goddamn these dreams. I've been dreaming about my nigga Easy. I've been dreaming my nigga B was still breathing. I was dreaming they showed love for real reasons. I've been dreaming about the times when the block wasn't hot, and I was ducking cops with a sock full of rocks. I was ducking cops with a pocket full of guap. So addicted to the game I didn't think I'd ever stop. But then came jail. Had a nigga dreaming about the freedom. Everybody say they visit but you never see them. Same girl you should.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty.
Check out this snippet from the new season of Talk Lately with Monty about Jennifer Holliday.
Anyway, let's get back to...
Yeah, well, what I wanted to say is that I can understand why.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
But you have to, it's repetition. So welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show, here live on BeExposedRadio.com. It's me, your host, Nate.
You almost forgot his name.
I didn't, but I was about to go into what I was, my lesson for the day. And my lesson is write stuff down. Young people, write stuff down. You can't remember everything. You're not strengthening your memorization and your memory and your brain power by trying to keep everything down, because you're going to lose something trying to keep everything in your mind. So that's the lesson. So tomorrow when Hullywood comes, he's going to have bullet points. He's going to have his stuff written down so he can refer to it as he's talking. So that was just his first time, and we're working with Mr. Hullywood, and he go get it better. It's a work in progress.
Most definitely.
It is. Is this me? It's my lesson. I used to think that I could remember everything. I'm a stage manager. I love to stage manage. And systematically, I'm a very systematic person. Like, everything has to fall in order. But the moment something gets thrown in there that's not in there, it will throw everything off. And I'm a great person. I'm great at putting out fires. But that's because I did the good old-fashioned make a list, check it twice, 3 times. But it comes with time. So this next topic is on trauma. So, quote of the day: trauma is the new outbreak germ of the 21st century. I say that I took a workshop in conjunction with the camp that I'll be working with this summer. We did a YouthWorks. YouthWorks put on a phenomenal workshop. I've been to a couple of these workshops, and they weren't like this at all. They were not like this by any measure, mean, or at all. And it was a young man, and I remember seeing him actually on an Oprah show, and it was on trauma and how you get back from it. This gentleman, he spoke on his life as a child, as a young child actually. He watched his mother get shot in the face twice. I believe it was his father, then turned the gun onto his 12-year-old older brother and shot him. And he then pointed the gun at him. And by some chance, he began to plead for his life as a child. This instinctually, he began to plead for his life. His father then instructed him to run, like, get out of here then. So he let him go, and his father eventually killed himself. So that traumatic incident followed him for years.
Right.
20-some years after that, he was still not. He never looked at the calendar. He didn't like celebrating holidays because it all reminded him that his mother and his brother and his father was no longer there. So all this traumatic stuff, and then other stuff began to happen throughout his life. He was molested. He was bullied. Right. A number of things. Right. And this all culminated into him being this inspirational speaker, and he works for the health department in helping to prevent issues connected to mental health in the city. Right. So this workshop, with YouthWorks, they've always took YouthWorks as a vehicle, and it's more of an internship than it is a job. Right. And many of us who worked through YouthWorks at some point, like I think I did YouthWorks one summer, and it was about having a job. But I learned a lot that summer. I was 14. I learned what my work ethic would be in subsequent years, like the years to come. I worked very hard at the age 14, and I remember my first boss, Miss Kennedy, the first lady of the church that we were at. She became like my mom almost, and she worked with me, and I remember I didn't want to work with the children. Everybody else we got to choose where we was at, and something told me go work in the kitchen, because that just seemed like an easy job. We just had to put out the breakfast, put out the lunch. That's it. When we went on field trips, we were in charge of that.
What about washing the dishes and all that?
It was no dishes. They were box lunches.
Oh, box lunches.
Right. What dishes? Like, I'm not washing no dishes. But in doing that, I learned a lot. So in short, this was a different experience. So working with youth work programs over the years, I've learned that it's more about helping the child to develop healthy work habits as they are young. So when they get old, as they grow, they then know how to go into the work world. So you infuse, so they have now input into the curriculum for their program that you have to at least spend one day talking about job readiness, interview skills, so on and so forth. So the whole first day of any camp or whatever job site they're at, they have to go over like the packet of information.
Right.
So that's why we went to this workshop so we can get it. This was the first time that they had a workshop like this, and it dealt with trauma. I'm inviting the gentleman on, so I'm not going to go into full detail, but just give an overview of what I learned from it. I learned that as adults, we are quick to discipline a child for their behavior before we do any research on what the problem is, because the behavior is the result of what is wrong.
Right.
It's not directly connected to what is wrong, meaning they won't always do what has been done to them or showcase what has been done to them, but they normally act out. Some traumatic incident may cause a child to, say, break out in crying fits from the outsider looking in for no apparent reason.
Right, but he's hurt somewhere.
Right. Most children begin to daydream a lot. Right. When they've gone through something traumatic. Adults do these things, but children naturally do these things. They'll start daydreaming a lot more. They begin to stare off into space. So he gave us a lot of these examples, and me going through things in my life, it made a lot of sense.
Right.
And we were able to share some of the experiences that we have. So his overview was, we're so quick to discipline before we actually get to any type of understanding of what is going on.
Right.
And that is dangerous when you're dealing with children, because you don't have a basis of what's wrong with them.
Right, you just want to hurry up and chastise them and get
right.
quiet.
And especially if you're in a classroom setting,
right.
You don't have time to stop and figure out what is wrong with a person, but we have to begin to make that time, or whoever's in charge of disciplining has to then make the time to make sure we're not just putting people in detention and they staring at a wall, but they're actually getting through what is going on with them. And that was one of the issues that was brought up. So what are the things that you do? So the first example that he threw out to us was a child is late for school. Right. So one of the young people who are signing up for a job experience on Monday morning, this coming Monday, they're late. What's the first thing as an instructor or somebody in charge would you do to that child?
As far as if they're late, I'm like, why are you always so late? What's going on? Like, is there something going on that I should know about why you should be late? Or should I move you?
But that typically, based on the information I gave you, that's what you're going to say.
No, but that's honestly, without that information, that's me speaking like that. I wouldn't go that deep. I would say like, all right, yo, why are you so late all the time?
No, but okay, so and it was natural for you to, I'm not saying that your answer wasn't natural, but it was natural for you to go to that place after the information I just gave you. But, okay, so we have 60 kids coming on Monday, and it's 5 of us. 60 children and 5 of us. That's it. So on a daily basis, it's going to be 5. So this is the first day. And we got to sign them in. We got to do orientation based on what our program is and based on what youth work requires for these students. So all of this is going on. And mind you, at this school, there are 5 other camps going on. One camp alone has 100 students. Another camp has like 30. Another camp has 40, and so on and so forth. So all of these students, and we're trying to make sure our 4 classes stay together and do what it is, and don't get mixed up. Get them signed up, because all these students are going to be coming at one time, and we got to figure out which ones are ours and all that crazy stuff.
Right.
So first day of camp, we've gotten all, and somebody comes in late. They like an hour late. So we got all our students, we're going through the list, and these 2 students come in late. Your first reaction is, what is wrong with you? You know this is a job. You know you have to take this seriously. You know you can get fired. Now, what are some of the things that could happen that would make somebody late?
Wake up late, not feeling well, just being lazy, didn't feel like getting out the bed, as you say, these bus routes be late
Mhm.
for that. Also, you know, you can have stuff spare of the moment. You could be on your way to work, catch a flat tire. That happened to me. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, I called.
But these are children.
Oh, well, children. Well, then, yeah, the parents probably wasn't home in time from work in order to take them or something like that.
So
Or-
those are the typical responses to when the bus was late.
Right.
My mom was late dropping me off. Now, what about young people who live in really high crime zones? Or, for instance, there's a custody dispute between two parents.
Right.
And the parents, instead of figuring out what's going on with the child that morning and making sure they get the child gets to where they go to, then argue, they decide to do this. So they got to be at our camp at 10 o'clock. So they decide to argue at 9:30.
that argument gonna last for
Right.
like an hour.
So
or
the
two.
child is figuring out how I'm gonna get to school. So they arguing. I can't go nowhere. My parents gotta drop me off. So they're going through this.
Right.
Other incidents is, somebody just died 2 weeks ago. And life goes on. You were scheduled to do this, and for some reason, somebody said, "Well, you got to do this." But some children need this money. A lot of children who do summer camp jobs, they need the money.
Right.
They need them. So there are a number of things that could have happened that aren't typical excuses.
Right.
Now, the bus routes, they all change. Nobody in your household say, get up and test out the bus route so you know how you can get to this program that you in this summer.
Right. Most people don't think like that, though.
No, they don't. They don't. But a number of things could go wrong.
Right.
So trauma happens.
Right.
And the reaction to this is sometimes an attitude problem. They act out or they close themselves in. A lot of people that I come across, they will be very annoyed with me because I ask them what's wrong a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If I feel like something's not good, I'm going to continuously ask you what's going on. And you don't necessarily have to confide in me, but I'm somebody that you can confide in.
Right.
Because I know what it is to have stuff inside of you and not have anybody to talk to about it. So I know that as a young person going through things, and you need that. Yeah. And often when you're in those situations, people are quick to discipline you before they are quick to figure out what is wrong.
Right.
Because they don't have time to sit down and talk to you.
Right.
So they'd rather just discipline you. You do this again, you're fired. Or you don't have this program.
And they come out with attitude. Man, this job.
Right, because they feel like you don't care. So why would they want to care?
Right.
So he listed all these things that could affect a child's behavior, affect a child's performance. But he also listed a number of things that as adults we do to children to more affect what's been going on with them. So we don't care what's going on in your world. We don't have time to figure out what's going on in your world. We don't want to know what's going on in your world.
Do what I say do, and that's it.
Right. What I have for you to do is more important than anything that you're going through. And that's the mindset of a lot of parents. Because they don't think that their child, no matter what age they are, we don't feel like children have issues or have given circumstances.
But they do, and that's
the
thing. And it's sad sometimes that like the parents don't actually catch that. Like,
Right.
Like, what's wrong with my son? Why is he always in his room? Why he don't go outside like that?
Mm-hmm.
Or why when he talks to you, he kind of shuns away?
Mm-hmm.
And that do reflect off the parents. Like, what are you doing to make him feel like? It might not necessarily be you, but it also your action, like you said, your actions can actually show, like, your actions can make a kid draw away. Like, every time I do talk to you, you yell at me or you fuss at me. So I just keep it to myself, and now I'm angry, and I got this stuff boiled up, and you wonder why I'm slamming stuff in my room.
He gave the example of when a child is you arguing and fussing, and the child is so hyped. The first thing a parent or an instructor or some type of parental figure would do is go to your room, go to this classroom, go sit out in the hallway, and calm down. So you're sending a child away to figure out how to calm themselves down. Right. You ever been sent to your room when you was mad? And you decompressed, but you felt more alone so your problem is still not healed.
Right.
So when your parents feel as though they're calm enough to talk to you, then it's still an attitude. Now there's still a barrier between, because I have an attitude because you didn't care to figure out what was wrong with me or what my opinions and what my thoughts are. Children aren't taught, for the most part, how to do effective conflict resolution or to resolve anything.
Right.
So what happens is when something happens to them, all they know are the emotions that they've seen. So anger, frustration, isolation. I knew how as a child to be quiet because everybody ain't got to know your business.
Right.
So that's something that we put into our children. But when something's wrong, when something happens, they have to be able to articulate what is wrong with them. So we have to talk to our children so they have vocabulary to use when something is wrong and they feel comfortable coming to us.
That's what my father did, and that's why I respect my father so much, because even though I go through some things, he'd be like, sit down, he'd like, talk to me, what's wrong? Like, you know, tell me what's going on in your mind. I'd sit there like, nah, I don't want to say anything.
But after a while...
But it helped me out, because then I started to open up later on down the line.
You have to get comfortable with someone. Even your parents, you have to figure out how to get comfortable. And the sooner parents start doing that, the more comfortable that child. I have a friend who can talk to my mother about anything. And when she's telling me some of the things that she talk about with my mother, I was like,
I don't know about that.
I can't talk to my mom about stuff like that. And for her, that's normal.
Right.
For me, that's like, I'm not talking to my mom about who I'm having sex with. That's gross. Like, that's...
Right, like... Like, recently, I just, like, a few years back, I'm just getting to the point where I can just freely just, like, say what I want. So sometimes I will always be afraid to say something. Like, man, how they going to react? Will they fuss at me if I say this? But now I'm to the point, like, because one, I'm grown. Two, it's like, I was respect, I respect my parents. So I wouldn't say that. But now I can freely just say what's on my mind and say what's on my chest, freely, how I feel. No cursing involved.
Right.
Like that. I'm still not going to get smacked in my face. No.
So, in the next segment, we're going to continue this conversation on trauma, but some of the things that parents do wrong when they're faced with trauma that their child has gone through.
Right.
So we'll go through some of them, and I want people to call in and be able to communicate that with us and talk to us more about issues that you have. If you working in a camp, are these some of the things that you're thinking about? This workshop needs to be done in schools during those times when they keep being out of school. So this is something that teachers need to be trained in anyway, because I see it happen so much. You know, we don't like to talk to children. We don't like to talk to young people. And I really feel like that's something that we need to get to. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, Lately is back on May 17th at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com. Oh, okay, yeah. Also on YouTube. I know the rate is killing. Why would you see me recording? Oh my God. You a hard-headed yo.
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
Listen to Elizabeth Warren talking about Black lives and Black life.
Police are not occupying armies. This is America, not a war zone. I speak today with full knowledge that I have not personally experienced and can never truly understand the fear, the oppression, and the pain that confronts African Americans every day.
Don't you just want to kill yourself? I mean, not from what she was saying, but from the music that was playing in the background. I just want to, gosh, but every word she said was prolific, and it did not come from what is now becoming mainstream as white privilege. She has a sensibility about her, and the way she speaks about different things that has, from the first time I saw her, I can't remember what state she's in. I think she's in like North Carolina or something like that, somewhere I'm not going. That some kind of sensibility about her that makes me like her for president. But she's not running. We have this old guy that looks like he should be on the popcorn box. Then we have Martin O'Malley. Fine. We'll settle. if we must. Hillary, who I like, but she just has to fight against all this controversy, and that's the hard part of it all. Then we have Huckabee. I could have swore he died, like in one of those books, like a fairy tale book. Trump, we're going to get to you in a moment, meet with all these black folk in one room, and they just fell for it. Like, he must have been giving out $100 bills behind them.
Check out the Talk Lately show every Tuesday nights from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Right, see, that's what I needed. Hey, welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live on BeExposedRadio.com. I need you to call in. Call in. 410-702-5657, or you can text in at 443-642-9403. Did I do that right? Yeah, 9403. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page at Be Exposed Radio. You can get alerts every time the Artist Exchange Radio Show come on, or you can go to the Artist Exchange Radio Show page and click like and share it out. Please share this YouTube live with everybody. Let people see the show. Help spread the word. I really would appreciate that. So back on the topic for this subject, trauma. We'll get into some traumatic experiences that happen in our life. But before we do that, some of the don'ts that were brought up at this workshop was, when a child brings you something, don't dismiss them. And this, anytime something happens, parents normally, in many cases, will dismiss something. I'm not saying that most parents will do that, but like if something happens like molestation, there are plenty of stories of parents that didn't believe their children. Right. You know, depending on who did it or the circumstances. Right. But you have to listen to your child. Even if your child is lying, listen to them, because there's a reason that they're lying. They want attention. So if you listen to your child and you get into the habit of listening to what they're saying to you, then you know when they're lying. Right. You know when they're telling the truth. You know when they're seeking some attention. Children act out because something is wrong, and something is naturally wrong, or they feel something is wrong in their life. Right. So they act out in certain ways. One of the don'ts is when a child comes to you, listen to the story that they're telling you. You know, listen to what they're saying to you. You know, don't overtalk them. If you can't do it in that moment, say, can we do this at this moment? So schedule a time. Make sure you keep that time. Or just make the time to sit there and listen to what they're doing. Right. You know, often as teachers, we don't have a lot of time to deal with a lot of children, especially with a lot of the school system now, where they're piling in students, where there are at least 30-some students in a class. You don't have a lot of time with no help. And you don't have really the time to do one-on-ones with your students. Right. But figuring out what does that mean and how does that impact your day, but figure out how you can make time to hear what that child is saying, whether you're the parent or not. Right. You know, if they're in your care or if they're in your space. But we're gonna I guess you have a traumatic experience that you wanted to talk about. Well, he wrote it down, by the way. Yep,
I wrote it down. This is honestly my first time actually speaking about it publicly.
You can be louder though.
I said this is actually my first time speaking about it publicly, about trauma as far as everything. Whew. But I remember, like, when I was younger, I was as far as you talk about child molestation, and I remember when I was a kid, I was molested. And it affected me for so long, and like I really didn't know how to come out and say it to anybody like that. And I remember one time it was me and my mom. We was driving to the store. I don't even know how we got on the topic. And she was like, we was just talking about, like, as far as, like, you know, some families that have been molested. And I was like, yeah. I said, I know the feeling. And she was like, what you mean? I think I was 23 years old. I said, yeah, because one of my cousins was molested, and she was talking about that. And I was like, yeah, like, he wasn't the only one that had actually been in that situation. And she's sitting there and she's looking at me. And she's like, what you mean? Like, she's like, why you didn't tell me? She literally just started crying. And coming out, she's like, why you never told me this? I said, because I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't know how to actually bring it up to you, because it happened like I remember we were having a big family sleepover. It was crazy, like how, you know, your family, you trust your family, you know what I'm saying? And for a family member to turn around and actually do that to you, it really messes your brain up. And like, I went through a lot for years and years and years, just eating at my head. And I just been wanting to tell my parents about it, but I just never knew how to approach them.
Was the person still in your life?
Nah, no. He's definitely not since that day.
Now, I mean, growing up after this happened to you, was that person still?
No, he was gone. I haven't seen him after that day. Well, yeah, I haven't seen him since then. But like, it was just so traumatic for me, and I feel like once I told her, like, I felt relieved in myself, because I finally was able to get it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did go through the same type of situation, you know, where being molested, and like, you know, it's very definitely.
So you never said anything until that day?
Till that day.
And what happened after that?
My mother was livid. She was heated.
Did she know the person?
No. Vaguely. So, and she just sat there and she just let me just talk to her about it and tell her how I felt, and she was sitting there like, she was hurt because I didn't come to her. And she was just like, you should have just came to me and talked to me. Like I tell you, anytime you go through something, come talk to me about it, because, you know, that's how we communicate. We talk.
And see, that's one of the don'ts. When when parents or people that are put in place to be in charge of you internalize the things that you bring to them. And that's a natural reaction, because you feel like you're at fault. Well, something I could have did, I'm blaming myself. I didn't protect, but you internalizing it. So again, you're shifting the focus off of this person that's going through something, and you making it about what you didn't do or what you could have done. And you're really being absent in that moment. So internalizing things that people say to you, and it's an empathy thing, especially people who have gone through what you're going through. Well, that's empathy, when people have gone through what you're going through. But it's called being an empath, and you absorb what someone's feeling and what someone's going through. So we're going to talk more on this topic, and we're going to bring it to another day. So we're reaching out to the gentleman to get him on the show, and we're going to keep this conversation going for a future show. So definitely stay tuned. Definitely go to our page. Send us your messages. Have you gone through anything traumatic? Do you have advice for teachers and parents and instructors that may be not so good at handling traumatic situations when it comes to children? So definitely hit us up. info@beexposedradio.com or the Artist Exchange Radio Show @gmail.com. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. Pew, 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 pew.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
This is the reality
of
the world that we're living in. A lot of young people don't have the information that is necessary to have healthy lives. And a lot of the organizations that are geared towards young people don't have individuals that are going to be as honest as this gentleman.
One of the issues that I have with this quote-unquote Christian nation that we live in is that
not just the Christians,
being... Religion allows you to live in denial, but the world does not live in denial. So who are you helping with your... All right, I'm going to stop. I'm about to do something.
The reason I shrink that or take that away, because it's people who are not religious. It's people who are... They're not giving their young people, or they don't have a person that could be that honest with them. I mean, we all have that. I know I had a mother like that.
There are
rather than,
and it's just and it's been recently because I've recently had more interaction with teen mothers than I have in my whole life. I wasn't my mother wasn't a teen mother. Her mother was. She made sure none of her daughters were. So it was, you know, in as I get older and working in certain areas, you tend to run into that. And one of the things that blows my mind is how often a teen mom does not talk to their child at all, period, much less their daughter that they had at 15, to say, these are the realities of sex. These are the realities of the choices that you can or cannot make. These are the realities. Like, how do you not, after going through it yourself, knowing the stress, the looks, how do you then turn and look at someone else and say, all right, good luck? I mean, this is your offspring. I'm sorry. I just get very emotional about that. It bothers me that there are a great deal of people.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out this flashback from the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
That's the biggest thing, is just empowerment. Just get off of the begging line. Just be proud and just get our pride and our dignity back, because as a child, we're taught how to go and beg for a job. Our parents, they literally taught us.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
It happens too, so it's an interesting concept to look at. But we're back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. We're just talking a little bit in the break. But in this segment right here, I'm going to talk about a workshop that I was able to be a part of this year. Well, not say this year, the other day. One of our guests, Mr. CC Christian, came onto the show. And he is a trans man. Yeah, trans man. And he was born biologically a female, and he's transitioning into being a male.
Right.
He works for the federal state's attorney's office for Maryland. And he works in the human resources department. And because he was going through his transition publicly, questions started to be raised, and people were asking him questions. Nobody was being inappropriate or derogatory, but it just brought about a lot of questions. And in his life, this was coming because he had just told his mother. So his mother is known for a number of years that he was, in his terms, a lesbian and bisexual. So he just came out in phases. And then it wasn't until this year that he actually told his mother that he felt as though he wanted to be a man. And that whole ordeal. So on this panel, there was another young lady who identified as pansexual, and his mother was represented, and Christian and myself, and we all represented a different background, right, so to speak. And being in this, first of all, it was jarring to me because I've never had to talk about sexuality in terms of who I am and myself. It's never been a conversation unless it was somebody I was dating. Not even really my friends. My friends have tried to get that conversation out of me, but it just doesn't happen. And I don't even feel for myself it's about shame, but it's just, I grew up, people don't need to know your business. If you ain't sleeping with them, what they need to know your business for?
Pretty much.
Right, and a lot of people marginalize individuals because of it. And I've definitely been marginalized because, quote unquote, I don't fit the image of what a real black man is. I don't know what that means, but that's been said to me in many different ways. So I'm always casted as the funny old man, or the friend, or the funny friend, or so those are the roles that I get. So I felt that marginal experience in me even being an actor or artist. My voice doesn't sound like the typical man. I've been told many times to put bass in my voice.
Right, they tell me that too.
Yeah, but this is my voice. That's not my voice.
Right.
And you can damage your voice trying to make it higher and lower.
Right.
And that happened to me. There was a moment where I tried to do that because if I'm going to be an actor, I have to do this. And I was hoarse for about 2.5 years. So I had done damage to my vocal cords.
2.5 years? Bro?
Right. Dang. Because I kept trying to fix my voice to be something. And when you put that much stress on your voice, it's going to be damaged.
Right.
So I had permanent hoarseness for about 2 years. And I didn't think my voice would be back to normal. Now, since then, my voice has deepened since then. Mm-hmm. But that's not how you're supposed to do it. You know, that's not natural. If your voice doesn't naturally go there, my range is not high. Some people have range in their voice. I don't have that. You know, I have more highs than lows. And it's not even monotone. Wow. It's just a lot of people don't have that range in their voice. True. Most people don't. So everybody doesn't speak with bass in their voice. That's not natural. You know, but
you're not Barry White,
right? That's not my voice. So this panel discussion happened at the federal state's attorney's office, and everybody in that building was invited to it, and I didn't know that, so I didn't know how many people was going to show up to this, and it wasn't uncomfortable because I talk for a living, so it's not. Talking is not uncomfortable to me, but the questions were awkward. Not so much uncomfortable, but just more awkward because a lot of the stuff I can't relate to. Right. You know, I've never been necessarily bullied. I've been disrespected, but I've never been bullied. I didn't have this story where I had to figure out what I was going to say to my mother. I don't have that because for me. You know, my mother said to me in her own way, without directly saying it to me, that she loves me no matter what. So there's nothing that I need to say, you know, and nobody else that I need to prove or get validation from. That's not how I was raised. Right. So this meeting showed me the insecurity that other people have, and even speaking to the mother, seeing what that could have possibly looked like for me. And it was more dramatic for me. It sounded very dramatic listening to these stories. And I just didn't have those stories. But I didn't realize how official this meeting was. I was a little inappropriately dressed for it because I didn't know how I took it seriously, but I didn't know. I thought this was just like an HR meeting. That's it.
It was like one of them suit and tie meetings?
Not even that, but just the subject matter. We were being Skyped into another office in another city. So they were doing it was like sensitivity training almost. Okay. So we were able to share who we were and our backgrounds and our story and our connection to LGBTQ. And it was open they had a number of panel questions, and then it was open to the room to ask questions, which was the scary part because you don't know what's going to come out people's mouths. Right. So it was very rewarding and very eye-opening, just by the questions, because you don't think people are going to ask stupid questions.
But they do.
But they do. One lady asked me, is there a religion?
What?
Do you have your own religion?
That's what I was saying.
I said, so what do you mean? She said, well, what religion are you? I said, AME. That's my denomination. You know, I'm a Christian. Right. What
does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Right. But in her mind, so you talk about going to church. Do you have your own? I said there are churches set up for non-denomination, for people. There are LGBTQ friendly churches. There are LGBTQ churches, but they're not a different religion. It's not like we're 8th-day Adventists or something. It's not like that. But that was a weird question for me. But people think these things. They think these things. Another lady asked, how do we keep children from struggling with these issues? And I asked her, well, what are they struggling with? Are they struggling with the fact that these adults around them have a problem with it? Is that where the struggle comes from? Or are they confused, or are they just unknowledgeable about what it is? Or are they feeding off of the fear that the adults around them have? Like, what are they struggling with? And the lady couldn't answer the question. So you're putting this fear in them. You're putting this awkwardness in them. You're putting this disrespect in them. It's just like racism. Children learn that from somewhere. They're not naturally born with that.
Right, like hate is taught. It's definitely not. You're not born with hate.
Right, it's what they see. So they seeing this. So the struggle is they see you doing this, but they don't necessarily feel what it is that they see you feeling.
Right.
So they may not feel it. That's the struggle. And when I said that to her, she disagreed with me. So, but this was a really, it was, I would say, interesting workshop. And we got these really nice plaques, which is really, I didn't expect for it to be so welcoming and so open.
Right.
There were definitely a lot of uncomfortable people in the room, but you can see it. A lot of people that didn't make eye contact was very, but it was, for me, it's just, who do you talk to stuff like? Who do you talk about? Or what do you talk to about with people when it's none of their business? Like, if you ask me a question, I'm gonna answer it.
Right.
But outside of that,
like, don't ask a question if you don't want to know the answer to it.
right? Or how about just don't offer information if it's nobody's business?
Right. Like, who are you and why?
Right.
Exactly.
But it is definitely. There are questions that I have for people, like, why do you feel like people are so uncomfortable? I know I get uncomfortable in crowds. So I'm not a club person. I'm not. It's just too much.
Right. Being around too many people, because you don't know what can happen at any point in time.
See, that's where you coming from. I just don't like being around a lot of people.
Nah.
It's too much. Noise gets to me.
Noise get to you?
Yeah, you looking for explosion to happen.
Not an explosion per se, but you just never know what happened in the crowd. Like, that's how I used to feel. Like, I wouldn't go to baseball games just because I didn't know what's going to happen or stuff like that. Because I've been in situations from my previous jobs where I've seen what can happen in certain situations. And like,
you need therapy.
I mean, a psychiatrist, they don't help out none. They just go on what they taught. I don't need no medicine, man.
That's what a psychiatrist does. A psychiatrist is
give you medicine
about
to mess you up
medicated.
more. That's all they're gonna do. Medicine is to mess you up, and you're gonna need medication to get off that medication.
Therapy should be helping you to organize your thoughts, not necessarily suppress them. And medication suppresses your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. It doesn't necessarily solve the problem.
Right.
It just puts a band-aid over it temporarily.
Right, until the band-aid come off, and there you go.
Yeah, and it's back. As soon as you stop the medicine, the problem is right there.
Right, that was something, like, just speaking about medicine. Like, I was writing a film, and I was saying about as far as going through certain situations, what I was just talking about, and he's saying, when the guy looks at the pill bottle, he said, "Why am I taking this? Because all this is going to do is just make me good for a moment, and then once the medicine wear off, I'm back at square one." So, like,
I learned that during the play that I was doing too, but this is and it's not even awkward for me talking about it. I just don't know what to say. Like, what do I say? Like, I want to know what people would want to hear from me. Like, what questions would you have? Like, that's the part that was awkward for me.
Right.
So what do I say? I got an itinerary itinerary of what we were talking about, but I'm looking at the questions and the bullet points, and I don't know what to say to these questions. I just don't.
I would say just what I felt.
Well,
like, yo, I really don't.
There's no feeling attached to it. That's not clarity. I understand what is being asked,
but you just don't know how to put it out there.
Not how. I don't have a thought on it. Like, some of the stuff, I'll send you the questions or the thing, but like, what is?
I just tell. I don't got a thought on it right now.
Right.
Like, you gotta come back to me later.
Like, one of the questions was like, what is your? The lady said, when did you all come out? And They kept starting with me. I don't know why. I guess because it was funny to them. But I said to her, right now, like, this is my coming out story. Because I never felt the need or deemed it necessary for me to say to somebody, this is who I am. My name is Nathan Couser. That's my name. That's who I am. Like, anything else is a label for you to understand and for you to, like, okay, I get this. This is what it is. This makes me comfortable. But that's not the full scope of who I am, because then you start having to add sub and dashes and commas to that. Right. Because that thing doesn't define who you are, or that adjective doesn't define who you are. So you got to keep ... But we're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back here with a very heated topic. So definitely stay tuned, stay locked in. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BigExposedRadio.com. Don't go anywhere.
Man, it is what it is. Man, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is.
This fly T Miles, also known as Tyree Miles, and Mr. Miles the writer.
Hip Hop K, check us out every Friday on Be Exposed Radio at 9/11.
Coming to y'all soon.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
If you had a dream venue, where would that be? Like, some people want to do Carnegie Hall or like a big stadium somewhere.
I want to go with Madison Square. I wanna feel that
so
building.
So you just shoot for the moon.
I want to feel it. I want to look out and just feel the vibration of all of those people there to be uplifted and all of that, because that's what I want to do for people.
So are you dancing? Are you...
I want to implement that. I think I want to start doing some blocking. Like, not like, tear it up. But just like a,
a little 1-2.
Hell, a little, not voguing, but kind of the essence of it. Very posy and, hit the mark. Yeah, we're not trying to like bust out sweats.
So that's mean you don't have the dance gene in you.
I can dance.
Okay.
That's
not what I was doing.
I can dance. But I'm not, trying to get that. That's not my lane. I want to keep it really kind of a retro feel with like the new school with a retro feel. Like
Okay. Little Banji Soul.
Yeah.
People gonna start using that.
Right. And they should.
Little Banji Soul. Yeah. But this market, so people know, like this was mine.
This where it came from. Because people was queens out here now that was princesses last week. They was princesses before my album dropped. Now they queen or something. Like, pinky up.
I cannot. The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
So right. I feel some emotion on and on. Why do black people get mad? I was so alive. Saw me. Who was the boss? Hello? So you heard me singing? Eric is such a jokester. We have a hello. Hey, what's up, and welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. It's me, your host, Nate. We are closing out on this hour, and I want to let you know this summer is about to be a summer. I'm about to spend the next 5 weeks with 14 to 21 year olds in the Do More Poets Presents the Maya Baraka Writing Institute, and I'm very psyched. Please be encouraged. I love children. I love teaching children what it is that I love to do. I could never teach math or science. I couldn't do that. That would be extremely boring to me. But it's always a challenge teaching young people in after-school programs in summertime, because children naturally click off when it's after hours. And summertime is definitely after hours. So please keep me in your prayers. But getting back to the show, we've been talking about a number of issues: a new bus system, trauma, the LGBTQ workshop that I did. But I'm gonna finish out this show with a conversation. Now, I am not an instigator. I'm not. But one of my biggest fans, one of my biggest inspirations as an instigator, because I'm a bit of an instigator, is Miss Shinya, right? And I get to actually work with Shinya this summer, which is very cool, because I've wanted to work with her for a minute now. But Shinya is ultimate instigator. So I've begun to ask questions on my social media just to keep the buzz going. You know, as media and as a radio show personality, I have to keep my topics fresh and edgy, and I'm learning how to move into the world of blogging and journalism. So in me doing that, I'm researching topics and throwing out things just to get the buzz going, so I'll have a basis when my blog comes out on September the 9th. It'll be debuting, so look out for that. And there's also a book coming. I'll tell you the title of that book tomorrow, but a book will be coming out in a little bit, shortly. I'll say shortly. I've been working with an author that I met from the Authors Expo, and we're doing some writing. So look for some literature from Mr. Nate soon to come. But this one topic, you still finding it?
I have it.
So the question that I put online was, why do black people get mad when other black people show support for All Lives Matter? Now, this is comma ... parentheses. This is not a disclaimer, nor is it my soapbox for why I support All Lives Matter. I'll tell you, all lives do matter to me, and I have no issue with saying that. I have no qualms with saying that. Okay. I'm still a black man who is very active in the black community in which I serve, and that is in all different facets. But black lives are not limited to the black men and women that are I don't know how to say this, because many people within the black community have been X'd out of Black Lives Matter. Right. If you're not on the front line, if you're not beating your drum, right? If you're not Afrocentric, if you're not straight, if you're not fuckable, I'll just say that. Like, it's a lot of different individuals that have been X'd out of this black power movement that is Black Lives Matter. Right. And for me, I see it differently. One, a lot of people who are leading the charge for Black Lives Matter are doing a lot of good, a lot of positive. There's a lot of initiatives that have branched out of this, a lot of fatherhood groups that have started, a lot of initiatives for healthier relationships between men, right, in their community and each other, other fellow men, a lot of sisterhood organizations, a lot of focus on children, a lot of organizations that are focused on brown and black people, right, people of color. A lot of things have come from this Black Lives Matter movement, right, and Black Lives Matter has come from a lot of things that have been tried and maybe have not and may have failed, but Black Lives Matter have definitely stood a short test of time, right, and the impact that it's made on everybody. Right. I personally, just like a lot of other black people, some people won't say it, some people will, but I have mixed individuals. My uncle Rodney met a young lady. She just so happened to be white, right, and they both had 2 children together. Right. Now, she has 2 mixed children outside of them,
Right.
and now they have my 2 little cousins.
Right.
Now, my issue is when you look at them, they don't look like little black children.
Right.
In terms of what they look like.
Right.
So if anything was to ever happen and say somebody decides to be vigilante and just start Xing out white people, we would have to hide them because they would be on the list,
Right.
clearly. And I'm not saying that is what Black Lives Matter would do, but there have been a lot of people who have done derogatory things in the name of Black Lives Matter. All I'm saying is you don't have to be angry. Anger does not solve the problem.
Right.
Because you get on these sites, you get on these rallies, you do these protests, and everybody's pissed off. And then what happens? You go home, you eat, and you go to sleep.
Right.
And then you wake up, and then you mad again.
Right.
So it's not solving anything.
Right.
So I understand that people want to get to the bottom of what's going on, and people need to fess up and take responsibility for the wrong that has been done to black and brown people for years.
Right.
And years and decades and centuries. And since the beginning of time. I understand that. I read. I know my history. I'm learning more of my history. So I value that. But for me, all lives matter.
Right.
And we'll get back on that topic when we return to the Artist Exchange radio show only on BigExposedRadio.com. I didn't vote for Trump.
Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show.
I'm just thankful this year I've dealt with, some growing pains, and I've overcome some things, and I've also, accomplished some things in the process. I've learned some things. I learned that everybody loves your work until they got to pay for it. That's what I learned. That's what I learned. I learned everybody loves what you do.
The pay?
I mean,
not always.
Listen, the Bible says money answereth all things.
Well,
okay, and there is a place. There is a place where finances is necessary. Yeah. And when you got kids and when you got a wife and then you doing everything and you top dog at what you do, especially when you weren't in the same place like with this radio show, you ain't in the same place you were a year ago. Should nobody be coming on the show and not donating to your show?
Can you say that on my show?
Should nobody be coming to your show?
Can you say that in the middle of the live?
Yeah, make that a promo, please.
Should nobody come on this show without donating?
That is a nice commercial.
I don't care if it's $20.
Donate.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here on Be Exposed Radio. Be Exposed Radio.
So now we are in reactive mode. With our young people, we don't spend enough time working with them, preparing them, inspiring them, mentoring them. And so now we're faced with a generation that's like, I'm going to do my own thing.
Right.
I have no respect for you. Because what have we done to help them except to say that, like I was telling the HL7, that, I get highly upset when adults forget that they were ever young, and the first thing they say is young people are up to no good. Well, you're not helping them. What are you doing to inspire them? Right. So to me, that's reactive, because now that they're in the street cutting up, now you like, we need to do something with our children, or we need to start schools earlier so we can get them off the street, or we need to do this. To me, that's reactive.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Monty from Talk Lately. I want y'all to sit back and listen to this flashback. We be tripping.
I mean, really, but I mean, he might have. I got him maybe jacking her up.
The kids said he did it.
But this is Floyd Mayweather punching her head repeatedly, and like she doesn't have like brain damage.
No, she didn't have brain damage. I don't think he was hitting her like that. Or he probably was like, say something else. Say something else.
That
he probably wasn't like tagging her.
Right.
He probably was just like, and the kids just like, Daddy.
Why do they have the accent? Why do his kids have the accent?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Read that while I introduce us. Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live, only on BeExposedRadio.com. This is the last segment? Oh, it's still one more after this. Okay. So welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live, only on BeExposedRadio.com. It's me, your host, Nate Couser. You hear that articulation? That hard T? That's how you have to speak. So, this segment we're continuing the conversation on Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. I made the mistake, apparently, of posting this message on Facebook. I posed this as a question: why do black people get mad when black people show support in All Lives Matter? Now, mind you, this discussion had a two-part reason attached to it. One, Stevie Wonder had showed support, and he was going to do a concert for All Lives Matter.
Right.
A lot of people online have been, and I just saw it, a lot of people, all the messages underneath the comments read such. I'm not listening to Stevie Wonder's music anymore. I'm about to throw all his albums in the trash. Who else is not going to ever support Stevie Wonder? Stevie Wonder is 70-some years old. He has not only given his time, his energy, and his talent, but his money to the cause of helping black people make it over. This is the same man who gave money to Martin Luther King and his wife after Martin Luther King was killed. He's given money to various charities, foundations, so on and so forth throughout his entire career. He's one of the people responsible for We Are the World. And that was just one of his many gifts to many causes. His man has definitely put his money where his mouth is. And as many other people like him have done. Also, and I'm not going to bring up the second one, but it was like a petty issue. But this was like, oh no. So I wrote in that moment, why do black people get mad when other black people show any type of interest or support in All Lives Matter? It was a question.
Right.
So from this question, I became an All Lives Matter card-carrying bigot and so on and so forth. Like a friend of mine, she chewed me out for how irresponsible. I can't believe you would write something like that. She said, I just wanted you not to comment because I didn't want people to not support your show. I don't care. I really don't. My issue is I really feel that All Lives Matter, and it's not to quiet or shush Black Lives Matter's leaders or supporters.
Right.
It's because I feel like All Lives Matter.
Right, it's not just one particular race.
Right.
Like if someone, like I was just saying, like before we came back on, as far as I was feeling like there's other races that's just going through just as much as we're probably going through. But
if you read what the man said, read his initial argument. Like, go scroll all the way up and read what he said. So a white man messaged me during this whole, because it just lit up. Like in a few, like about 20 minutes, it was already like 30 comments. And they were just pew back and forth.
Right. He says, to reply to your post without getting called a racist or having people call my job or get me fired or threaten me, I feel a PM is a bit better. People are frustrated with Black Lives Matter because they feel African Americans don't value or respect the lives of other African Americans. Some do, some don't. That's the same in every race, creed, culture, neighborhood. Some white folks feel like that when they try to help or do things for the African American communities, they get told basically, quote, fuck off. Now, I believe your life regardless of color matters as much as mine because you deserve respect just as the next man. Until all of us as people in general learn how to treat each other the right way, we will always have issues.
Now, my next comments with him was, one, thanking him for being, comfortable enough and sharing that with me. And not just being the typical white man to say, oh man, fuck that. Right. But that was his point of view. And if he didn't feel comfortable posting that message in that thread for fear somebody was going to report him or shame him or get him fired from his job. Now, I am not saying that this man isn't racist or he is or whatever the issue may be. I am not saying that. What I'm saying to people is listen. Listen to other people's point of view. It's not always what you think it is. It's sometimes coming, even if it's ignorance. You have to listen to what it is so you know what it is that you're fighting. You don't know what you're fighting in 2017. You're fighting against people who have been as poor as you have been over the last couple years, who has been as marginalized as you have been over the last couple years. I've heard in the last couple months, I've heard stories of white people who are allies of us who would not have naturally been, but they understand what police brutality is. So they understand what we're going through by way of what they're seeing on the news. Philando Castro, this whole thing happening to him where another officer is being acquitted for the charges that were brought up to him in the wrongful death of this man. Now, in a civil trial, he's going to pay. He's going to pay dearly. Because it's very clear. In civil trials, it goes to the morality of what they did, not necessarily to the law, to the T of what happened. Even though, even in this situation, it was still wrong of him to react that way. The police department posting the dash cam doesn't help him out any, because you can clearly hear what he's saying. You can clearly hear what the officer is saying. So it's still all over the place. So getting us back to All Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, you're saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing, but neither side is taking the time to listen to the other side say the same thing. And even if you hear somebody, you're in an argument with somebody, and they say something, and you're like, oh shit, I kind of agree with that. But you're so mad that you're not even going to say that. You just go hard. And that is what is going on. People want to be angry for the sake of being mad. And when you're mad and you're yelling and you're screaming, nothing gets...
Two people arguing,
you're just barking at each other and going louder than the other one because you feel like you're not being heard.
But if everyone sit down and be literally sit down and talk their problems out, like you said, listen to what each other has to say, maybe we can get to the root of the problem.
Maybe. But you cannot do that simply being mad. Nothing gets accomplished being mad. And my friend said, well, we got to be mad because of all... You can be mad, but everybody can't be mad. Somebody has to be the peacemaker. Somebody has to be the logical thinker. Somebody has to not be afraid to cross the line and go talk to the other side. Somebody has to, set a fire. Somebody got to shoot something up. Somebody got to piss off somebody. Somebody got to throw a brick through somebody. All those jobs are valid when dealing with situations like this. But everybody can't be mad. Everybody can't stay on the forefront and be pissed off. What does that do? You're just a talking head at that point. You're no better than the news.
You're not making no sense at all.
Right, because we saw in this whole since Freddie Gray, we saw a lot of people jumping up for the cameras. Getting their 15 seconds of fame on the backs of this young man being wrongfully killed. Murdered. You saw that. I see that. That's not my angle. Now, my instinct, excuse me, but I ain't just out talking to white people. That ain't my thing. But I've learned that diversity is key to making anything happen. Now, I ain't gonna be your friend because you got white privilege, because that don't mean a damn thing for me. But what I'm saying to you is, you gotta understand what they're saying to you. You gotta understand what is being said over there.
You gotta interpret. You gotta listen.
Right.
Because we don't listen, how can we understand?
Right. Send in spies. Send in, allies.
Throw that drone in there.
Right.
Really intel of what's going on.
Exactly. Intel is a great word for it. You gotta understand what's going on, or you setting yourself up for failure. We so angry at Hillary that we elect this buffoon.
I didn't know.
We did collectively. Like, if one person voted for him, or if one person didn't vote for him and voted for somebody else, knowing that they're taking votes from this person, you actually voted him in. Take responsibility for it. You can.
I didn't vote for him.
If you didn't vote for Hillary,
I voted for Hillary. I didn't vote for
right.
Trump.
And I'm not saying Hillary was the best candidate. No. What I'm saying is it wouldn't have been what's going on right now.
Bill Clinton would have been back in office. That would have been good.
No, I mean, but see, that's disrespect to her for her merit. But at the same time, you're saying the same thing. It's just like one religion saying the other religion is
wrong. Right. Well, how you know which religion is really like which one is
right? Compare notes. You're saying the same thing.
Right, y'all teaching the same message, but just
from a different perspective.
Right.
Your history account is a little bit different.
Right. And yours happened in 1908. This one happened in 1948.
Right. Yours based off fables. Yours based off actual history accounts. You're saying the same thing.
Right.
You're saying the same thing. Why are you mad? And that's the question. You know, I go to some of these rallies, and I ask, why are you mad? I know why you're mad, but in this moment that we're sitting in, why are you mad?
Right.
You don't even know. It's just it's good showmanship to be angry. It means you're serious. It means you're down for the cause. But I'm not dying from no stroke because I'm mad at something that I can't control in other people.
Right.
I can't control your white privilege.
You don't control what's
right. So what am I getting pissed off at? I mean, my friend went off. Like, she was screaming on the phone. That's my opinion.
Right.
That is my opinion.
Right, like someone told me on there when I answered, they was like, well, you're wrong. And I'm like, well, I said, is there a right or wrong answer for this? Like, it's really not.
Read some of the comments. The paragraphs.
Can I read mine first?
Go ahead.
Well, I said my opinion. Well, the question was actually no. And I said my opinion is because people are closed-minded. Like, why should just one particular ethnic life matter, even though the circumstances here in America are quite messed up? But we are not the only country that has problems. Like, for example, like, what about the unseen, like the human trafficking that's going on? Like, a lot of people, like, they don't care who they take or what nationality or which race like who they snatch up, they're gonna grab them because that's who they want right there. Like, I don't care if you black, white, Chinese, Mexican, Vietnamese, anything like that. And then also I was thinking of, and I gave another example. What about Yao Mei Park? It was a girl from Korea, and she was trying to escape from her country because of the government and how everything was going on. And like, she sat there and literally just watched her parents get killed in front of her because she was trying to escape. You know, they Korean, but their lives matter. You know, everybody's lives matter. And other people, someone else said, well, Black Lives Matter was created to make statements and when Blue Lives Matter and All Lives Matter were created, is diminished that statement and created a conflict.
It doesn't. That's the contradiction in someone from Black Lives Matter, a supporter in that saying that. Right. You're contradicting yourself because you're saying the same thing that you're accusing somebody else of doing.
Right.
In that case. And I understand what the issue is. We're in Black Lives Matter, we're not saying that other black people killing black people that aren't police officers isn't significant, isn't important, and we're only where Black Lives Matter are focusing in on those individuals that are in seats of power, in seats of authority, that are taking justice into their own hands and killing black people at free will and not being convicted for it.
Right, and it's crazy, like, because like you said, blacks killing blacks. Like, how many people, black people that died in the city of Baltimore just this week alone by a person of a black
7 in a row.
Right, and by African American or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
But you can't just move the mic because it's kind of on radio.
An African American, like, they getting killed, but yet they're not making a big fuss about all this and all Black lives.
And the first thing that they say, well, that's not what this is.
Right.
We're not saying that. Well, all lives matters aren't saying that that's not important either.
Right.
We're saying that we can't just kill each other. We can't just sit and be pissed off at each other. We can't. I've heard so many young people reiterate what older people have said to him, that segregation did more harm for us than it did good. I don't want to go to a place where I'm segregated, where I can only drink out the dirty water fountain, or I have to go in the back door of a restaurant. Right. I don't want to go back to that. That sounds stupid to me.
Right.
It sounds so dumb, and they've justified with because we had our own and we had appreciation. Segregation didn't make us stop loving each other. We did that.
Right.
Because we felt like we had gotten to a point where I don't need you anymore. We don't have to be in this huddle because this is all we have anymore. I have opportunities. I can get my education, so I don't need you no more.
Right.
We did that. Segregation didn't help us do that.
Right.
We decided to do that for ourselves. We forgot the point of the civil rights movement was to make us more unified.
And it's crazy. And I believe we can have we stop if the people stop doing all these hate crimes and killing each other, we can become we all can be powerful. Like the Oklahoma bombing proved everything. We had our own black people had their own Wall Street, their own hospitals, their own libraries, and everything like that. And to let you know, if people stop killing and we all come together, and we can be a force to be reckoned with, as far as just coming together and making everything unified. But how people are, I believe it's that their minds are segregated. That's what I'm starting to think.
And everybody's out for themselves.
Right.
This Black Lives Matter does not help, because even within Black Lives Matter, there are hundreds of different organizations that are now pulling out of it and going into their own corners and not being unified. You have to stick strong. You can be 1,000,001 different organizations.
The reason why we started.
Right. We're getting away from that, and it's not happening. It's not positive anymore. So we're going to take our final break. We'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BigExposedRadio.com.
Hey everybody, this is your girl, the one and only Vic Cows. Check us out every Saturday from 5 to 7. Only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Oh, recently?
Yeah.
I was talking about overall. No. Two?
That was Uber.
That wasn't Uber.
Yeah.
That wasn't? Yeah, that was Uber.
That situation with Uber, I think you told us about.
But this guy, my whole thing is pay attention. I don't know if this dude was trying to get home or something, but he was speeding. Now I'm with the flow, do your thing. But when you taking me out of my way and you speeding, little suspect, trying to get my butt.
Like the Clemson guy from the Ohio State game.
Trying to
what?
Yes. Yeah. Now he picked me up from my job, right? And I'm telling him where to go. He refused not to go. And you're speeding. So I'm thinking, this is me. I'm in the back seat. He's speeding. I'm like, he trying to take me in an alley somewhere.
Really?
And so I'm a little uncomfortable. So I'm noticing, I'm looking at the GPS. It's telling him to go this way. He's going this way. And I'm like, wait a minute. You taking me out of my way. I know I curse like a sailor, but
I do too.
There's sometimes you just don't curse. And this one time was that. Hey, look, y'all. I'm only going by what the GPS, yo. No real shit.
Oh.
What?
Fuck it. I quit. Oh. Like real shit? Really?
Wow.
Say you cussing?
Wow.
Trying to get my butt?
Yeah, this the man that holds it down. Mr. Showtime, D the Boss. Check us out every Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Last time on Talk Lately.
Government. I don't understand why. Look, me, and I haven't said anything either. This is my moment. Where this American Healthcare Act is. Oh, you all right? Ooh, I sneeze and a cough. How'd that work out? That sounds real difficult. Like, damn, sneezing is like you skipping a heartbeat. A cough is like
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
What's up, and welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on BeExposedRadio.com. Brief messages and notices. If you are a personality, if you have something to say, and you want to share it with people every week at the same time, hit us up, info@BeExposedRadio.com. If we can help you get your own show, bring your new show over here, start a new show, or bring your existing show to a different platform, hit us up, info@BeExposedRadio.com. Put in the subject line, I want my own show, and I can definitely help you do that. Also, we have awesome, affordable, and great, spectacular, tremendous sponsorship options for you to promote your business, your service, your products, your upcoming events. Just hit us up again, the Artist Exchange Radio Show at gmail.com, and I'll give you all the details, or you can call me directly, 443-418-8168. Serious inquiries only. So just a general wrap up of the show. I gave the new bus system a big fat F. A F for failure. A F for effort. All that. We also went over some trauma in dealing with young people, and you can definitely relate that to dealing with people in general. Don't internalize. The lesson being, don't internalize what people saying to you. If you can't take it, say, hey, that's, be honest. I can't do that. Or just think about butterflies while they're talking to you and just listen. Because sometimes people just need to get it out. Don't be so quick to discipline behavior. Figure out what's wrong. If you're taking the time to care that much, take a little bit more time and figure out what's wrong with the person. I also had to shout out Mr. Christian C.C. Keys and for inviting me, as well as the whole staff of the Federal Attorney General's office of the District of Maryland, for inviting me to their workshop series. I love the plaque. It was an awesome gesture, but it was more beneficial for me to sit in a room full of people, because I decided my 30s are now dedicated to me being my most authentic self in every situation, every facet of who I am. And it had already started happening in the last 2 years, but it's like sometimes I can't help but to say what's on my heart in every situation, and I don't bite my tongue anymore. So I really value that in all the individuals that I met that day. I want to have them all on and maybe continue the conversation, and I'm definitely going to have the man on that did the trauma workshop for the Youth Works. Phenomenal young man. I love the message. It was definitely what I needed to hear in that moment, because it just gave me more insight as an actor and what I wanted to give. And then to end it all, Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. It's not a versus. It's not a competition. It's not a battle anymore. We have to get to a point where we respect each other, and it's not just for the sake of what is necessary for that moment. We have to get over this anger. You got to get through anger. Anger does not solve anything. It makes every problem worse, because you're not clearly thinking. You're working off of emotion.
Right, you're speaking before you're thinking.
Right, and you're not allowing anything to get past. So let's figure out the source of our hurt.
Right.
And that will help us subside our anger and our frustration at what has wrongfully happened to us. And whatever your situation may be, whether it be racism, bigotry, sexism, whatever it may be.
Right.
Discrimination is discrimination.
Get to the root of it.
Right. Get to the root of what is hurting you. And that connects to trauma.
Right.
Like, figure out what the source of the pain is, and then we can get to the cure.
Right.
The cure.
Right.
This is the last segment.
Yeah.
So again, tomorrow we'll be in the building, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time sharp. We'll be here again. I'll have Mr. Miles. He's an awesome young man who's coming up from Virginia to have a nice conversation with us. And tomorrow again is another Hot Topic day, so stay tuned. Just a note, on July the 8th, we got Mr. Tamil Robinson. He's a phenomenal designer from New York, and we'll have Baltimore Fashion Week's only Miss Sharon Nixon joining us in the building. So stay tuned for that fabulous, stylish. I had to get dressed up. You had to really do yourself up that day, Mr. Hullywood. You gotta be fly and fashy that day. 12 p.m. sharp. So this has been another Artist Exchange Radio Show. Definitely continue to share us, like us. We need your support. Continue to share us and tell people about us. Join the Artist Exchange group page on Facebook. Like it, share it, add all your creative, inspired work to it. Whether it be your bio, your music, your art, your upcoming creative events, so on and so forth. Thank you to everybody. Shout out to Miss Smoot for doing an awesome job on her first show.
She's killing the game. I'm trying to tell you, she's on top of it. Like white on rice, the big place, you got some Smoot.
And Mr. Eric, he's being such a boss now. But he's doing a great job too. So tomorrow, 12 p.m. sharp. Next coming up is It Is What It Is radio show only on BigExposedRadio.com. See y'all later.
Check out this flashback from the Artist Exchange Radio Show. I'll let you speak.